Okay, so am I. But I thought that, God, man, in every video you look so freaking tall.
Yeah, no, 6'2". Right now, about 215 pounds. So no, but back when I was when I was a kid, my father said to me, "Look," and I growing up in the South Bronx, he said, "Look, when somebody is going to get their dinner off of you, he said, you got to get at least your breakfast, or they'll always come back for the dinner. They'll come back to you again and again. They'll take dinner off you." He said, "But you got to hurt them." He said, "I don't care what you do. You hurt them. You make them pay. When somebody hurts you, you make them pay." And he made me sort of a kamikaze, my father. If you're going to hurt me, boy, I'm going to do my best to hurt you in every way I can. And I'm a pretty sneaky bastard. And you know what? I think that's probably why I survived. I was just angry.
Well, it's a good thing, though. I mean, really, your dad did you a good service as far as living here in this world, because you kind of have to be cunning anymore.
And that's about the only service he did, but the rest is good.
Are you concerned at all about? I've been dying to ask you this question. Have you seen the videos where, Mike, where the military is giving their used MRAP vehicles, and now they're talking about maybe, hey, we'll maybe give you a couple of Apache helicopters that we're not going to use anymore. And they're talking about, believe it or not, some of these police departments are talking about, yeah, we're talking with them about maybe obtaining some of their 50 cals. And I'm thinking, good God Almighty, I mean, listen, our family, we love the police, we support them. But this militarization thing, this ramp up, I don't know what it is that they're ramping up, because honest, we've not been hit since 2001. Well, okay, Boston, but I mean, they would have you think, hell, every time you leave the house, man, that you're going to get nailed.
Then there's a whole other show. I'm a trial. So I'm a use of force expert. I do police shooting reviews for 2 district attorneys' offices.
Oh, that's great.
And I couldn't agree with you more. But it's very complicated. I'll give you an article that you should read. I wrote for the LA Times, short opinion piece. It's called "That Nightmare Moment" by Michael Levine. LA Times. Google it, you'll see.
Okay.
That nightmare moment, and it's about police shootings, and the militarization comes in that you're training a lot of. There's a number of police who really are too frightened people. You wouldn't know it because they're steroid pumped, they're big, their fingers are on the trigger. There's no psychological test for the fear factor. And the fear factor causes people to pull the trigger much faster than a cop who say, a fellow like me, I once got an award for not killing a man. He ran at us with an axe. I gave him a chance to stop. He did. I think he would have been killed in his tracks in today's day and age. And back then, I got a $175 reward for not killing the guy.
Good job.
The point is that you have this training, this military training that is passed down. You've got one guy is out there giving courses to police. You've got an eighth of a second to pull the trigger or they'll kill you. And he's telling it to a lot of people who are frightened to begin with, but you'd never know it. But they're carrying guns. There's no psychological profile to measure that fear factor. And then you have there's another thing you should watch that goes into police shootings and police violence. And that is a lot of the information comes from informants. Informants basically are, unless you control them, they're liars. They have plenty of motive to lie. They're criminal informants. They're either giving you information to get themselves off charges or for money. They're exaggerating. I have a case now, I won't say where it is, where an informer claims he bought marijuana from this man, and the man is armed and he's dangerous, and the total marijuana he bought from the guy, it turns out he wasn't even really a drug dealer, was less than a quarter of an ounce, 4 or 5 buys. And because the informant said the guy is armed and dangerous, they went in and the guy didn't, they're doing one of these no-knock warrants. They're banging on his door. He had just been advised by police he should get a gun because there's an attempted robbery. So he gets the gun and he pulls his gun because he doesn't know who's there.
I would have.
And they kill him over less than a half. So that's one of my cases. The other one that you should see it's on YouTube. It's Informants, and I helped produce this. And it's the direct relationship between police, SWAT teams, shooting, and informant information. That's
YouTube, Mike?
It's on YouTube. It's Informants and Mike Levine. You should get it. If not, I have your email. I'll send you a link to it.
Okay. Thank you.
That's important for you to see because there's a direct relationship to the informant culture and SWAT teams who are not. SWAT teams are just called in like a military unit.
Exactly.
They don't know the case.
That's what I told. That's what I tell everybody that worries me. I mean, like I said, right now, I talk to the county sheriff. We speak frequently, and I talk less to the local police department because I live out in the county, so it's the sheriff's department out here. But I'm on good terms with them too. I get their point, and but I think that they're it's almost like they're training for something that will never happen. And when I mentioned them, like I had the local sheriff here, I showed him one video on YouTube, and it was a fellow they were training with the military. That bothers me too. But they were training with the military on this, and it looked like, had role players, and they were like, we're American citizens, and, we've got a constitutional right. And it showed that they were just practicing this crowd control, the suppression, and somebody was wearing a body camera, okay? And they go up and they talk to this cop. I'll send you the link to this if you want. But she says, wow, this MRAP and everything. And he's like, well, yeah, we need it. She's like, well, I can see you needing it maybe over in Afghanistan or Pakistan, but why here? Why here in suburban America, right? And he says,
here's something to think about, Tim. I ran one of the most active squads of DEA in New York's history. Right. Street cases. We made thousands of arrests. I would say more than half were armed felons, killers. Armed felons. We didn't call in a SWAT team. We didn't have it. We had to do it ourselves. So we plotted out, how do you do this without, what's the safest way to do this?
Right.
We never had to kill anybody. Thousands of arrests. Now they're killing people for grams of marijuana. You tell me what the difference is. You've got this militarized SWAT team that the investigators who know the case, I don't understand what the deal is that they you're a cop. You take a risk. You wait until the guy comes out of the house. You bait him out of the house with the informant. You take him, then go back. Why do you need a battering ram and a tank?
Right.
Why? We never needed it. We never needed it.
I mean, the armored personnel vehicle stuff and using the APCs and all that, it's just, I mean, to the citizenry, to us, it's just, the normal Joe, it's really, it's startling. And that YouTube video I told you about, when the lady asked him that question, she said, you're here in the streets of suburban America. I can see it, in Middle East, but why here? This was what he said, Mike, and I'll send you this link if you'd like. I think you'd want to see this. He said, well, you've got a lot of constitutionalists that believe in the Constitution, and they got guns, and a lot of people stock up on ammo, so, we need it. And that was the end of the conversation. And I thought to myself, present, accounted for, and guilty, Your Honor. Yes, I'm a constitutionalist. I've got guns, and yeah, I've got ammo. What's the big deal? I mean, they act like we're getting hit by terrorists all the time, and they act like anymore that the American citizenry is the enemy.